Joining. Hi, Anna. Hi, Petra. Who else did I miss? Hi. Kay. Hi, Kay. Melody. Yeah, so we're going to let people jump in as they come online. I might have to jump out of the swing and admit them, but what we'll do is we'll have everybody mute for now, and then we'll stop every 15-20 minutes and allow people to ask questions and interact. And I'm also making a good recording on YouTube, so afterwards you can have the replay. It's live streaming on YouTube, and that will be a good quality recording. Zoom's not the best for quality, so we're doing both. But Zoom allows us to chat with one another, and it's so nice to play together and see each other again after a few months of hiding out in our homes. So yeah, I just want to make sure if there's any problem with the video or the sound, just give me a wave or something, because I won't be able to read comments. And you can also unmute yourself if there's something that's urgent. But I will give you time in the practice and then time at the end to have a chat and to interact. Sounds good? Yay. Well, let's get started. I'm going to go ahead and rotate this down. Sorry for the boob shot. Oh, good. There's Sean. What's up, homie? All right, cool. So yeah, everybody's going to mute until we have a chat, if that's okay. And we'll be chatting here and there, but let's all mute until then. Feel free to ask questions at the end. If there's a burning question that can't wait to the end, then it's okay to chime in, but let's get a good practice going together. All right, and this is all streaming live on YouTube, and that's going to be the main video I want you guys to watch as a replay. And we're just gonna hop in now. All right, Petra, do you mind muting your mic for me, hun? Yeah, thanks. It'll pop me out of the video and show me who is chatting. So yeah, so let's just kind of get into the swing and hang out for a minute and come into what I call a sumo squat with the swing behind the back. So I really wanted to create an opportunity for us to come together, since it has been a little while since we've been able to see each other in person. But also I wanted to go over some of the alignment principles and some of the things that I've been practicing in the swing. And I'll move the video forward and back, but everybody can hear me okay? Everybody's good? The volume? Awesome. Thanks. So one of the main ways that I use the swing is for alignment, and we're working on our spine right now. So we want to just allow our hips to drop. Even if you guys have been practicing with me for a while, I want you to create even more length and more space in your torso. I call this tractioning the spine. And we're going to traction the spine in two directions, in an upright position and then in an inversion. And the inversions are a little bit more intense, so we can basically do everything in an upright position. So we're not only working on alignment, but we're working on the fascia and connective tissue. And just feel, maybe do some wiggling from side to side. Start to feel the body opening up, right? So I do a lot of swag, a lot of movement in the swing. And for you guys that have been practicing with me for a while, just add some more spirals to it. And if you're new to the swing, just be chill and mellow about it and just go from side to side. Most of the time people ask, what do I do when it feels uncomfortable? Because they're not used to holding their weight under their arms. You can hold on and lean back. And we'll let the swing slide down a little lower, or I give it a little hop. But basically you want the swing to hit right behind the heart. It's more like behind the sternum, because it's always going to ride up. So you don't want the swing so low that you're flaring out the ribs, because you want to sit straight down with your tailbone pointing straight down towards the sky, towards the ground, but you also want to get your sternum lifting up towards the sky. Right? Now let's go ahead and add our chillaxing arms, or interlacing our fingers behind the back of the head. And then we're just going to pause at the edges. So it's like swagger, but we're coming into a little bit of a back bend on the sides. And I call it Weeping Willow. So my legs are nice and wide. For those that have the round yoga mats, I'm at 10 and 2 on my mat, nice and wide. And then I'm bending the knees out to the side, letting my head sink back in my hands, starting out nice and slow. If you've been practicing a little while, maybe add some flair at the edges and coming into some spins and twists. So I'm calling this mastering the basics, because what we want to do is take some simple poses that we've been doing for a while and get more into the details, more into the nooks and crannies of the body. So take your time. Let's all just drop in and find our breaths and arrive. Okay, so as we sway from side to side, make sure the heart is shining up towards the sky and the head is relaxed back into the hands. The lower back is happy, so we're pushing our feet into the ground and there's no strain on the lower back. If there's any strain, go ahead and adjust. Make a shift in the position of the swing, or make a shift in the position of the hips in the air. And then we're going to keep it even wider. Walk your feet out to 9 and 3 on your mats. And then we're going to come into some lunges. And we're going to pause. Let's go ahead and start with the left side. And let's go ahead and just pulse here. Knees are splaying out wide. And as we pulse, we're going to go ahead and lift our heart and lean back into a back bend at the same time. Just pulse there. Let that feel good. Always support your head with your hands, elbows wide. Press straight back, take a nice big inhale. Exhale, second side, and just pulse. Maybe for 5 breaths, maybe 10 breaths. We like to add a lot of play in the swing. Give yourself time to explore and experience the body in a new way. Maybe this is really tight, right? Because it's like making a wish. We're pulling the hips apart. Then hang out there for as long as it feels good. And then let's go ahead and press back. Straight back. Let's come into a big back bend and then star and then super star. Shake it out. Shake, shake, shake. And then forearm press. So now we're going to use our arms pressing into the swing. It's behind the swing. So that way when you bend your knees, it's creating a hook. This way the swing doesn't actually pinch the underarms. And then in this position, I call it like belly dancing moves. We're going to just go ahead and let the pelvis rock. You know, so we're just taking the pelvis and we're rocking it from side to side and rolling the pelvis around. Give it a little hop. If you feel like the swing is riding up too much to the underarms, it shouldn't actually touch the armpits. And that takes a little bit of magic along the way. So just roll the pelvis around, let it feel good. Get a little more swag from side to side. Really good. Maybe add a little bit more of a spiral and a dance and a spin at the edges. We're opening up the pelvis to begin, as well as keeping the chest lifted, keeping the spine nice and long. And then from there, let's go ahead and heel toe our feet together. So our toes are at 12 o'clock. Come into one big back bend, arms overhead. Take a nice big inhale. Exhale, swim your arms out to the sides, and then inhale, forearm press again. Drop the hips. Let's just lift the toes and sway the hips from side to side. I'm flexing the feet back. Typically, you can see my feet, but keep the Zoom video close enough that you could hear me. It's a little different doing Zoom in a swing. And then from there, press the toes down one more time. Inhale, lift. Arms go overhead. Big back bend. Stretch, stretch, stretch. Wide and around, kind of swim the arms wide and around, and then back again. Now this time we're going to hold on to the swing and give some variations. Let's pick up the right knee and shoot it back behind you into a forward lunge. So I'm going to keep my toes tucked under in the back. And now I'm going to use my arms to bicep curl and come up. Exhale, lower down. Let's just inhale and lift for 5 and 4. Use your breath. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, up. 3. We're going to do 100 bicep curls in our class together. They're like secret strengthening exercises because we're still having fun, but it's amazing how strong you can get while just stretching out the hips. Now stay down. Let's go ahead and bring both feet forward. Give the swing a little hop or adjust as you need, and go right into second side, lifting left knee up, shooting it back. So I'm pushing forward into a lunge. My feet are spread out the same size as my mat. Inhale, straighten the legs, bicep curl. Exhale, lower. You can bend the back knee or keep it straight. Do whatever variations feel good. But get nice and strong and engaged in the upper body. And at the same time, get the hips to open and stretch, stretching it out. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Very good. Both legs forward. Let's come into Weeping Willow one more time, but with the legs together. Interlace the fingers behind the back of the head. Nice and easy. Sway from side to side. Let that feel good. Open up the side body. So think of this big arch and rainbow that's happening. And even though you're looking at the video and looking at me, after you get the pose down, have the gaze up towards the sky so that the head can relax back into the hands. We're going to lengthen some of the sequences so you'll have time to feel it after viewing it. And we'll slow it down a little bit on the video so you can stay with me. Okay, let's come on back to center. Inhale, open up the arms wide. Jazz hands, shake it out, shake it out, shake it out. Forearm press. Get the swing nice and low now, because it's always going to ride up. You can always shift it there. Let's try our lunges one more time. Inhale, pick the right knee up and shoot it back. Come into a forward lunge. Now, instead of holding on, I want you to try chillaxing arms here. Now we're opening up the chest. We're getting a big arch through the spine, but then we're also opening up the belly and the psoas and the quad. So bending both knees, but keeping your right toes tucked under. Press your back, the space behind the heart, into the swing and lift. Inhale, straighten the front leg. Exhale, bend the front knee. Inhale, straighten, come into a deeper back bend. Exhale, bend the knee. Very good. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. One last time. Inhale, straighten, bring both feet forward. Let's go right into second side from here. Keep your upper body as is. Inhale, pick up the left knee and shoot it back. I like to keep the toes tucked under. Bend the front knee. Feel a deeper stretch through the quad. And then exhale, straighten. This time we're switching the breath. Inhale, bend and press forward. Exhale, straighten and deepen your back bend. Inhale, bend the front knee. So we have a lunge in our back bend coming together. Exhale, straighten, stay here. Both feet together, legs straight. Press your hips up and lean back. Sway it out from side to side. So we're working the front body, the legs, the hips, the belly, the heart. Big chest opener in these poses. And then we're going to reach up and grab for the swing, hold on to the swing, and just walk it to the back of the mat. If you don't have a round mat, just kind of guesstimate. We want to use something to define the space, just so we're using the proper alignment. Let's go ahead and try some standing poses. I'm going to reach up and grab for the hand holds. Let me just shift this video slightly so you can see my hand holds. Okay, so in case you guys at home are wondering about positioning, sometimes I like to bring the hand holds down so they're lower, and sometimes I like to play with them higher. It really is a personal preference. So just see what feels good. For me, I want to just be able to bend my knees. If you can bend your knees, you're in the right spot. I'm going to push this video back just slightly and see if that's helpful to get a better view. I think that's a little bit better. Okay, cool. Alrighty, so I call this a full body hang. So I'm using a wrist wrap to hold on, and I'm bending my knees in like a sumo. My feet are at 9 and 3, and then I'm going to rock my pelvis from side to side. And as I rock my pelvis, I'm straightening one leg and then the other leg, and I'm still focusing on stretching the entire spine. You can add a little twist, a little bit more swag, some of those belly dancing moves where we let the hips explore in space, maybe even twist all the way into a side lunge. Feel free to play with it. You know, I call it aerial yoga play because we really want to give our bodies a chance to just experience and explore the swing and feel something new. There's all this kind of tightness and stickiness that happens through the rib cage and through the middle of the torso, the love handles, I usually call them. So we're trying to open all that up. And the hands are going to get tired of holding on. It's kind of like rock climbing. So you need to take frequent breaks. So let's go ahead and straighten the legs, shake out the hands whenever you need a break. Okay. And then let's come back in and try this one more time. Let's try one hand at a time. Okay. So let me just tilt this slightly. There you go. Okay. So I'm going to start with the right hand in a wrist wrap. And then I'm going to have my feet in a triangle pose. So all my left toes are pointing out towards the side. And it's like a triangle pose in yoga. But this time I'm going to get a nice neck stretch in here too. The full body hang is something that I do every day. So the sequence that I'm showing you is I wake up, I get in the swing, I come into the sumo squats, I wiggle around, I come into some back bends, then I go ahead and come into the full body hang. The key here is to let the ear drop to the shoulder and get a big stretch through the neck and the extended arm. You can wiggle around a little bit, looking down and looking up, but all of your weight is hanging by this right arm. And just see if you can get a good adjustment. You might hear some crackles and pops in there. You can also do some self-massage and start to lengthen the connective tissue. I work a lot with the fascia because that's what binds. It's kind of like the sheath over the body, and it binds the muscles. So we have to get into the connective tissue and fascia just by using gravity. Let's go ahead and come up because that arm gets tired, and switch sides. So now I'm going to hold on with my left and extend the right arm. Feet are in a triangle pose. I'm turning my right toes out now, holding on with my left hand, dropping ear to shoulder. Yeah, just let that feel good. Maybe look up and then look down. Rotate your gaze all around, stretching out the neck, giving the body time to really adjust. You might get some nice cracks and pops in there. It always feels really good to get the space in the neck and shoulders. Do some self-massage. I call it yoga-sage, where you can do some hands-on to help to gently assist this part of the body open. And then we're going to inhale, come back up. Let's go ahead and shake it out. Always shake it out in between. Shake, shake, shake. Give yourself a little break. And then we're going to try both hands one more time with a wrist wrap. We are going to come into some core strengthening, everybody's favorite, I know, but we have to get the core activated. So I call it knee lifts. We're going to pick up both knees and pull them towards our chest and see if you can get 10 of these in. Now that might be too hard, so you can keep your feet on the ground and just lift one knee at a time for a marching position. So let's go for 10, whichever one you like. Inhale, lengthen, exhale, squeeze. These are really hard, so don't be afraid to try the marching one if it's too much for today. But we want to get as much space and length as possible in the torso, and then from there, strengthen the muscles around the spine. This will help improve the posture, as well as giving you guys stronger muscles, paraspinal muscles, so that it can hold your posture while you're sitting and doing other exercises. Okay, that's enough. Come on out. So make sure that once, shake it out. Make sure that once you are opening up the torso, that you're also strengthening the muscles around it. It's super duper important to do both, right? Okay, let's come on back in. We're gonna get into our sumo squat. Push the swing down nice and low so it's at the sternum behind the heart. Go ahead and walk your feet out till 10 and 2. Kind of going faster in some of the basic poses since I know you guys have been practicing for a while. And then we're going to float into chilaxin. So chilaxin is one of my favorite poses to do. So we get to incorporate the leg loops, but we also get to work on the hips and lower back while fully suspended. So let's go ahead and grab the left leg loop with both hands, karate chop the leg up there behind the knee. Second side, use your core. We want to be able to lift our legs. That's why we do all that lifting from our full body hang and get it behind the knee. Chillaxin arms is where the name came from. So this is the full pose. And just see if you can create some swagger where you're letting your hips drop and be heavy. That's a really important cue. Let your heart open and lift towards the sky. And then your head is relaxed back into your hands. Just imagine the swing being right underneath the tips of the shoulder blades. And if it does ride up, because gravity's doing a good job, all you have to do is give it a little hop or lean back into a back bend and let it slide down the back. Okay, so there is a sweet spot, and you want to find that sweet spot so that you can have the biggest expression and the most comfort while opening up the body.
So good.
Nice. So yeah, if you guys want to chat, that's fine. But I do have everybody muted until we have the Q&A. But thank you for adding that little delicious tidbit. I don't mind. As long as you're saying it's so good. Yeah, we'll go for another couple minutes. I just wanted to give you something to chew on. And we're doing an hour class and then about a 20-minute or half-hour Q&A. So there'll be plenty of times to chat, and then I can demo things and we can get into the swing together. So that's chillaxing into swagger. Now I call this the chill flow. We're going to inhale, open our arms, and then exhale, hug the leg loops towards you. From there, let's blossom into star. Long arms, long legs, expand. Let's undulate the spine a few times. Pull it in, child's, inhale, star. Exhale, child's, round in. It's a cooling pose, so you can always rest here. And then star is more of a heating pose because we're opening up the chest and the front of the body. So just a few undulations. And then we're going to go from star to namaste. Bring your hands to prayer, and you're always hugging the swing. You want to make sure you have this hook, right? So always hug the swing. That's key. And then toes touch the whole time. Push the hips up, lean back. The swing will be holding on at the forearms. And then you can open up the neck and chest. Let that feel good. Take a few deep breaths here. Very good. Inhale, reach up and grab the swing. Let it slide towards the waist as you allow the crown of the head to drape down towards the ground. A little bit of a back bend for ladle. And then inhale, bicep curl, come on up. Have a seat. Okay, let's do that one more time. Let's inhale, open it up, piecing it all together. Exhale, child's. Inhale, blossom for star. Exhale, namaste. Inhale, reach up, grab for the swing. Exhale, ladle, slide it down. Let it feel good, massaging out the low back. Inhale, bicep curl, come to sit. Exhale, drop the hips. Okay, so chill flow is kind of one of the easiest sequences that we do, but we can add on from there and come into big back bends and bows and also come into inversions. So we will get into an inversion today. But let's go ahead and open up the chest and hips. So I always touch my knees to remember to grab for the leg loops instead of the swing. So slide up the leg loops, bicep curl, come on up. We're going to try some splits. I know everybody loves splits. Exhale, squeeze, almost as much as sit-ups. Inhale, lift, straddle. Exhale, squeeze. It's okay if the leg loops ride up. I call it high skydiver, is when they slide up towards the hip joint. It's okay if they slide. But if you can keep them down at the knees, you'll have a bigger split. Okay, just a few more breaths, undulating back and forth to warm up the hip joints. And then we're going to balance here. See if you can get your hands in front of the leg loops, but still keep your arms around the swing. Just thread through. That's great. You got it, everybody. So nice to be able to see you guys. Okay, so this is called skydiver for obvious reasons. Everyone skydive. See if you can tee your arms with your thumbs up. That's actually a really important cue to keep the shoulders open. So we're trying to open up the chest, open up the shoulders, and then we bend the elbows, bend the knees, We keep the knees wide, toes touch, and this is called butterfly. So we have our little butterfly wings in the back there. Yeah, you got it. There you go. And then I'm flexing so my hands are up on my shoulders. There you go. Slide down to the elbow creases a little bit more and your chest can come through. Beautiful. And then we're going to reverse it. Open up the legs, pull your hips down, feet towards the ground, and catch yourself in chillaxin. You know, everyone looks pretty good, but let's go ahead and try that from a high skydiver position so you can see what to do when the leg loops slide up, because that's very common. Sway it out in between, reset the spine, just take a pause, let it feel good. So our mantra is hips heavy, heart open, head relaxed. Hips heavy, heart open, head relaxed. Really good. Yeah, so good thing about doing a video like this, I could just show you all my favorite things and then you guys can ask lots of questions, but these are literally the poses I love to do every day to open up the body. So as we come to center, we're going to reach for our knees to make sure we're holding onto the leg loops. Once we grab the leg loops in our hands, we're going to bicep curl lift, this time squeeze the legs together and come to the center of the mat. Usually I'll adjust these to get into some sort of sweet spot. There is a spot that feels sweeter than others. There you go. Now I have to get my arms in front, so I'm going to hold on to the swing, keep my arms around the swing, keep my hands to prayer, but then through the center and in front of the leg loops. See if you can get the leg loops behind you. Sometimes there's a little entanglement that happens there. Let's see if you can get it. And now I'm going to come into a skydiver, but with my legs on the ground, with my feet on the ground. So I tee my arms, and I can bank a little from side to side. Our little banking skydivers. And just let that feel good. If you have your thumbs up and your arms in a T, you're going to feel a really strong stretch through the upper body. And I have my feet towards the back of the mat, and I'm pushing my hips forward. Okay? So high skydivers is an option if the leg loops don't stay at the knees, and then you can pull the legs apart to come into the floating version. So again, we're going to flex, so my hands stay up on my ears instead of my waist. Just notice the difference because my shoulders will stay open, and slide in a little bit more. The swing will come down towards the elbows, knees stay wide, feet are together, and it's another version of our butterfly. Maybe we can flutter a little bit more here, banking from side to side, letting it feel good. Usually we're opening up and splaying the chest and the hips simultaneously, so it's a big, big stretch. And then what we're going to do is slowly come on out, widen the legs, pull the feet down towards the ground, lift the upper body. Whew, you might get a little lightheaded. So we're going to keep the leg loops high for a moment, and I'm going to walk my feet towards the front of the mat. I'm going to hold on to just one side of the leg loop. I call it the nub. It's where the fabric meets the webbing. I'm going to hold on to one side there. It's kind of the same size as my hand, so it's an easy grip. And then I'm going to keep the legs straight, and I'm going to lift. Let's just do a little bit more core activation. Right, inhale, lift, bicep curl at the same time. You can do a little hop, or I call it a burpee, if you want to get a little bit more upper body strength. But this is these are called training wheels. When I use the leg loops up really high like this, because it helps me lift. It helps give me the strength so I can start to roll over and do some flips. If anybody does the acrobatics or tricks with me, try to do some flips and tricks. Otherwise, just work on the alignment and strength, and I promise you it'll get there in time. Very good. So those are our leg lifts with bicep curls, and I call them burpees when we go to a little hop. Okay, feet come back down to the center of the mat. We're actually going to do a little bit more neck. There's a lot of neck and shoulder stress happening right now in the world. So I think it's really good to help the neck out. So the swing is going to go behind the back of my neck. I take it out from underneath my arms. I'm going to hold on to the swing for support. And I'm going to make sure that my hair or earrings or anything like that are out of the way. And then I'm going to let my feet float so there's a little bit more weight. Never release the swing. Always hold on, right? So keep holding on with your hands for support, and then see if you can nod. So I just say yes with my gaze, looking up towards the sky, lifting the chin, and then exhale, lowering down, chin to chest. That's when we get the most tractioning for the cervical spine. So the more you drop your hips, the deeper the stretch. You can kind of decide how much weight you want in the upper body, but this sequence for the neck is really, really good. I'm mixing some of the aerial yoga play practice with the AYRx therapeutics. And this is all the therapeutics I like to do for the neck. So delicious. Okay, inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Undulating with the breath. Inhale, lift. Okay, we're going to come back to neutral with the chin, and then we're going to just go from side to side. So it's like we're saying no. So as we say no and we look over to one side and then the other side, the swing is going to dig in to the scalenes and all of that tightness that lives along the side body. So take your time with this. Make sure the neck is happy. You don't want to do anything too crazy or extreme. The neck is very sensitive and gentle, but we're using the swing to kind of dig in like a free rolfing session. And you can add a little bit more swag and get your hips involved. We're bringing ear to shoulder. Keep holding on to the swing and alternate in the space. Hopefully that feels really, really good. One more time, coming back to neutral, drop the chin. Nice, guys. And then inhale, lift the chin. 5 more breaths, slowing it down. We'll take a little pause and field any questions that you might have. And then we'll get into the second part of the practice where we do a little bit more of the strengthening and inversions. Not so much advanced as, we'll just say next level. So inhale, lift, bicep curl, bring yourself back up to stand. Ooh, take a moment, transitioning the swing behind your back. We're going to pick the knees up and let the leg loop slide back down, and then come into our chillaxin pose. Add a little swagger, reset, see how that feels, see what's different than when we started, what stayed the same. Maybe extend the legs, extend the arms, add a little bit more play now. Stretch, stretch, stretch in all directions. Let it feel really good. And remember, I am recording this on YouTube live stream so that you can have a copy to try it again if it was something that you want to repeat. But now I'm going to open it up and you guys can come on out and come into sumo and ask me questions if there are any questions. And then after about 5-10 minutes, we'll jump right back into a practice. But this is what's so great about Zooming with one another is we can actually have a chat and either come to stand if you want to take a little break from the swing, have a sip of water, or go ahead and stay in sumo and just hang out and listen while we catch up with everybody. Anybody have questions for me? Yeah, just go ahead and unmute. Hi, Michaela. Go for it.
Hi, Jen. Thank you so much. That felt so good. I've been so like, this is anomaly because I had another kind of yoga swing that was like tight. So this was just, that felt really good. But I think my yoga swing was probably too high for me because when I'm trying to stand down, I can't even barely get my feet down. So I think it's too high. So I'm just wondering about the adjustment and how to know exactly where to put things.
Absolutely. Okay, so I have it designed specifically. So the beauty of it is I do make these swings. So I have played with all the geometries to make it just right for everybody's body. If you guys are familiar with sacred geometry, it's really helpful that not only does it have a very specific amount of stretch, but it'll fit everybody because it's based in the golden ratios and Fibonacci sequence. So the way that you adjust the swing for your height, and I'm assuming it's a newer swing, because if it's an older swing, it's probably stretched out a little bit more. But if it's right, I know yours is new. So if it's a newer swing, what you want to do is stand on your tippy toes, and wherever the carabiner hits, that's where you want to go, right? Okay. And then the leg loop, because again, it's different for everybody, it's usually 3 or 4 down from the other carabiner, Okay, so the leg loop goes below the nub of the swing, the carabiner. It's like in alignment or right below it. And then the handholds are on the same carabiner as the swing. And most people do have it too high because it does stretch, and you can always bring it down one. Sometimes I'll work really low to the ground, and sometimes I'll work higher. But what we want to do is be able to reach up and immediately put our hands in the handholds with ease. If that doesn't work out, you can bring it down one. Some people don't like to be floating as much. I really like to float, so I usually have my swing a little higher than some other people. But don't be afraid to experiment with it. Typically, the leg loops are way too high when I go over to people's houses.
Yeah.
They're like all the way up. Yeah.
I think that's what it is.
Is that better?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to lower it a little bit on the leg lip, on the legs.
Yeah.
I can feel that.
The legs are usually too high is what I find. Don't be afraid to experiment and bring them down and see how that feels. I'm just going to give you guys a visual for when you are in the swing. So first of all, when you walk up to the swing should be about chest high because it is going to stretch, right? So chest high. If it's higher than your chest, bring it down. And then the other cue is when you come into chillaxin, you do not want your knees higher than chest level, right? So this is as high as I want them. So if your knees are really high up, like to your shoulders, then they're too high. Yeah, like Annalisa, you might want to bring your leg loops down one notch. Yeah, good. And that's really common, but you know, it's not the end of the world. It's just harder if they're higher. So same thing with the legs straight. When my legs are straight, my toes are at like eye level. We don't want it any higher than that because then you just have like a big stretch through the legs. So good questions. I do have a setup video for the yoga swings, but it's from like 10 years ago. So the swings were much longer then and a little bit more stretched out. So now the newer swings are kind of shorter and fatter and tighter, which is a more stable design. Because that way when they stretch out, then they're perfect. We don't want them to stretch out and be too loose, kind of like your clothes when you buy them, you know? Yeah, anything else?
It was so, wow, I didn't realize I was unsilenced the whole time, or at least for the whole discussion. Anyway, so Thank you so much, Jen. This is amazing. You know, it's immediately like obvious when you're teaching how there are levels to this and how like there's different levels to the therapy and different levels to the mechanics and all of it. So thank you for thinking through all of that with the design and with the class. So I love what you said, the 3 things that like our mantra, hips heavy, heart open, and head back.
Head relaxed.
Head relaxed, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's key.
That's
yeah.
Super. Thank you so much for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, and Annalisa, like you took the training with me in probably 2015 or something. So there's so much more language that I've added in and added on, especially the mantras, because it's like that's the key. You'll see in every, so I know you've been working with some clients, every client, it's like you got to have them drop the hips more, but lift the chest at the same time. I call it dynamic tension, where one part of the body is dropping and the other part of the body is lifting, and that's what creates the space. So you'll notice by their habits, if their neck is tight, if they're rounded in the chest, or if their lower back is locked. So that mantra will cover all 3 of the main hubs and body parts that people are having trouble with.
Yeah, I feel like you've been saying that too. It's good to hear it again. It's been a while. Thank you.
Oh, you're so welcome. Thanks for hopping on. Yeah, if there are any other questions, I'm happy to take some more time. It's no problem. Or we can close with another 20 minutes of practice. And then at the end, if you guys have some time to stay on, I'm going to go ahead and talk about the virtual training and what we're going to cover in that and why I'm doing it and, you know, different ideas that I've had. So anything else? Everybody good? Yay. Okay, cool. Well, it's just good to stay muted while we practice, just because I am recording it and the little sounds come through. But if you have any questions that are burning during the practice, feel free to jump out and ask me. I don't mind. It's just good to keep them all kind of collected towards the end. I know this stuff is really basic, but I do take requests. Is there anything you guys want me to go over or to review? Those that have been practicing with me for a while, or those that are new, I can go over a body part. Like if somebody's like, oh, I want to work with lower back or legs or whatever, or we can go over a specific sequence or poses while we're here. Anything? We're all good? All right. Well, great. Well, let's go ahead and mix it up. I would love, love, love to get into the swing in front of the body and go over some forward folds. Okay, cool. Yeah. So unless you have some questions, go ahead and mute it, and we'll start our practice up again. Okay. So this is a really good time to run to the potty if you have to pee, because your bladder is going to let you know if you need to go. That's okay. So the swing is going to press down with straight arms. I'm tippy-toeing. I know you can't see my feet from here, but I'm tippy-toeing, and then I'm pressing the swing down so it's hitting the top of my legs. You know, I'm going to go ahead and try adjusting this so you can see my whole body and just bringing it to the ground. So let me just take one moment and try that. I think it'll make everybody a lot happier to see the whole body. And maybe it won't, but let's try it. That's why this is a free Zoom class, because I'm experimenting on you guys. I was like, let's see if we can get all the technical difficulties ironed out now. Okay, let's try from the ground. Let's see how it goes. I'll adjust you guys too on the live stream. Awesome. Cool. Yes. Well, you can't see my head, but I'll be coming down in a second. So we're going to push the swing down so it touches our legs, the top of the legs, the thighs. And then we're going to press the hips forward and come into a forward fold. And I apologize for the boob shot in advance. I'll just pull that up. And then from here, where feet are in the center of the mat, and I'm coming into a down dog. So what I want to do here is just find the happy place where I can lift one leg at a time and go ahead and get the swing to slide down to the top of the hips, underneath the hip bone. And then I can inhale, arch and open, exhale, round in. And I call it the cat's meow because it's like a down dog and a cat cow got together. There is good video to review on YouTube, so don't worry about the Zoom video. This is more for us to be able to interact. Yeah. So inhale, lift. Exhale, round and squeeze your navel towards the sky, right? Like the cat. And then inhale, arch and open. So we're undulating the spine, right? So we want to keep using the swing to, like our favorite assistant, our favorite buddy, to lift our hips up. And there's really very little weight in the arms, very little weight in the upper body. And then from there, we're going to bring our hands to the front of the mat. And my legs are level with the earth, hip distance. And then I'm going to just do a little swag from side to side, just for fun. Now we're working on our obliques. We're working on that side body. I spend a lot of time working on the lower back. So this is really important. I'm keeping my arms straight, shoulder distance, and I'm letting my lower body explore in the space. Now from here, I'm going to go ahead and pull the knee. It's going to be a little intense on the hip flexors. Knee to the outer elbow. Let's go ahead and just do a little squeeze side to side. Yes, I know it's a little bit of an ouchie, but it actually is really helpful to get the obliques working. And then we can try both knees like a leapfrog and then press back. Inhale, pull forward. Exhale, press back. Legs stay level to the earth the whole time. And then what we're going to do is we're going to bend both knees and hook outside in. So now it's called an upside down dog. We just went from a traditional down dog to our swinging dog, which is upside down. So make sure your feet are hooked onto the outside. Most people will hook their feet on the inside. That is not a good idea. You'll slide right out. So hook the feet on the outside of the swing. So go ahead and Michaela, try the outside of the swing. Take your feet out, yeah, and then pull your knees down towards your chest so your heels are close to your bum. Yeah, that's it, hon. Okay, great. So we inhale, pull forward for up dog. Exhale with straight arms, press back. Our chin is going to come towards the center of the mat, and this is our upside down dog. Inhale, pull forward for up dog. That's it, really good. Exhale, press back, down dog. Inhale, pull forward. That's it. Exhale, press back. Now we're going to drop our elbows down, clasp our fingers together, and give ourselves a rest. Now we landed in a headstand where the crown of the head is grounding down. And at the same time, we're holding on with the tops of our legs so our knees are pulling towards the earth to keep that hook. Okay? Just give yourself 5 breaths here to rest. Slowing it down. We're going to be doing our cool down lap. You're always welcome to stay longer, or feel free to do any variations. If there's something that you really love in this pose, add some twists, play with some push-ups or some handstands. If you guys know how to do handstands from here, try coming up into a handstand. Otherwise, rest for 5 more breaths in your headstand. Whatever feels good. All right, so we're going to release our clasp, let our hands be shoulder distance, let the legs extend down towards the ground, straight legs, and we come on back up. So from our plank pose, let's go ahead and just do some tiny little mini push-ups. I call them chaturangas, mini chaturangas. They're not really chaturangas because our lower body is fully suspended. But just notice that you can get the shape of the push-up here. Or you can do the harder ones with the feet hooked. Walk your hands closer to the center of the mat. And then you do more of the strength training and getting the upper body working. From here, you can keep doing some push-ups or go ahead and straighten the arms and try to tuck into a handstand. We can do multiple levels simultaneously where you can just stay and practice on the strength, or go ahead and work on the balance and strength and try the handstands. Really good. We're going to keep the right foot hooked and bring the left foot down, stretch it out into a down dog. And from here, we're going to do one leg straight, both legs straight. So straighten the right leg towards the sky, left foot grounding down, splits. These are much more intense. You can keep the knees bent if you need to. But if you did come into splits, try to add some twists and let the upper body sway from side to side, opening it up. Yeah, so standing split twists, twisting with the upper body. Nice, let's change sides. Release both feet back down to the ground. Happy dog, wag your tail. Take some time to wag it out. And then lift, right leg up, left leg up, hook outside in, and then straighten the leg towards the sky. Okay, so try grounding through your right leg as much as you can, both legs straight, left leg extends, pressing your chest towards the standing legs, or adding a twist and twisting from side to side. I know, the twists are quite intense. Just do the best you can. You can keep the knees bent if it feels a little bit easier. That's how we can go from like a beginner practice to a more advanced practice, just by adding a little bit more strength and a little bit more stretch. Both feet come back down to the ground, shake it out, happy dog, do some loop-de-loops, figure eights, whatever feels good. We're going to end with one more inversion. So I'm going to have you guys walk forward, keep tension on the swing, and come on up to stand. Let's see if I can press, there we go. Okay, So now what we want to do is know how to come into an inversion from a standing position. So we're going to do one more inversion and then a cocoon, and make sure that we all know how to cocoon, which is kind of the world-class favorite. So I'm going to show you without the leg loops, which is a little bit more advanced, but this can all be done with the leg loops on from a chilaxin pose as well. Typically, we want to be able to get into the swing from a standing position. So instead of the swing going behind the heart, we're going to push it all the way down to the hips. Once we're at the hips, we can use our forearms to kind of lock it into place. And then from there, walk your feet towards the front of the mat. So you're right underneath your plumb line. Hold on to the swing. Now the legs have to go wide and around and hook so the feet touch. We always have to have at least one hook. So you lean back, bring the legs wide and around, and then feet touch. And then the swing is hooked at the hips. So now I'm going to do it in the opposite position. So I'm not just mooning you the whole time, but you guys can stay where you are and follow along. The swing is going to push down to the lower hips with my forearms. I'm going to stay right underneath my plumb line, walking my feet to the front of the mat. Legs go wide and around, and then the feet have to touch and hook. Beautiful. So this might be a bit of a review for you guys, but I also want you to really get the position of the swing. So the swing goes right across the iliac crest. And then we don't hold on for dear life with our toes. We want to bring our feet together, and we're hanging on by our legs. So this shape mimics the psoas in the body. The psoas attaches at the inner trochanter, transverses through the belly, and wraps around to the bottom rib. So this pose, when done correctly, is amazing for opening up the lower back and getting, they call the spinal erectors, to activate again. The swing is also squeezing the QL, the quadratus lumborum, and that muscle in particular needs this kind of wringing out. So this pressure is so important for opening up all the connective tissue and working with the different systems. So when we go into the training, you'll be getting a lot more of the details when it comes to the fascia and the endocrine system, the circulation, the connective tissue, the way that we can boost the immune system with the swing. There are so many different ways that we can use the swing for kind of like a full body, optimal health, transformational vehicle. So for our inversion, we're going to do a few variations. I'm going to push my hands into my upper thighs and try and straighten my arms to assist in this lengthening through the QL and the love handles. So everybody knows what I mean by love handles. So that's usually a good one. Everyone's like, what is QL? Right across the waistband. Okay, see if you can get a little bit more space in there. Press, press, press. So that's one of my favorite little moves. The other move I do is I do a little twisting from side to side, because these micro movements are so key for opening it up and getting some more space in between the vertebrae. You should be able to feel a lot of relief and a lot of openness happening through there. And then the last pose that we're going to do is an upside down dog, where I extend my arms shoulder distance straight back behind me, and I'm getting a big shoulder stretch as well as opening up the belly and the front of the spine. Really good. Yeah, it's helpful when we can see each other when we're upside down, but just follow along with the verbal cues if you're not able to see me. It's a little challenging with video, but better than nothing. Okay, so to come out of this, we're going to reach up and grab for the swing at our inner thighs. Bring the legs wide and around, scissor kick down. So see if you can bring one foot down at a time and land it in your sumo squat. Once you're in your sumo squat, I'm going to turn around just so you guys can see me. Once you're in your sumo squat, hips are heavy, heart stays lifted, head is relaxed directly over the spine. You can either use your chilaxin arms and come through the weeping willow, or just do a forearm press and hang out here to let the body acclimate. So if you're upside down for a few minutes each day, I promise you it'll completely change your life. It is such an incredible recalibration for the whole system. We're getting so much more blood and oxygen to the brain, which is always a good idea. We're stimulating happy hormones and the whole endocrine system to turn on. We're working with the lymph and squeezing out and flushing the lymph, as well as increasing just overarching circulation to the whole body. So after spending 3 minutes or so upside down, I recommend 3 to 5 minutes if you can, then you take time to let everything integrate. It's when you come out of the pose that you get the maximum benefit from it. So now's a good time to go into our cocooning. Okay, we always end with our Shavasana, but our Shavasana is in the swing. So I'm going to go ahead and come to stand and just show you that everything spreads out. I know most of you guys are well-versed in this, so you're welcome to just jump in already if you know. Otherwise, look, everything spreads out. It's so comfortable and amazing. This is my solar swing. I love the yellow. It makes me so happy. But I also have the lunar swings, which are the charcoal and the black that allow you to kind of go back into the womb space. And it'll give you a totally different experience, whether you want to do solar or lunar, right? So we grab a big handful and we stretch it out so we can get our bum in there. And we slide it to the knees. That's a really important cue. Make sure that the swing can stretch to your knees and you have enough behind the back of your head so that you don't pop out the back too. No early births, right? So get into your cocoon. And then you have a few different variations you can do with the legs. I like a version of Viparita in yoga where you can have your legs in a V shape, toes pointing towards the sky, and then arms overhead. This is maximum space for the shoulders, is letting the hands dangle out the back edge. And again, just make sure the swing is over the top of your hairline. We don't want it around the neck. And then if you like to really stretch out, these wonderful leg loops expand as well. Everything expands, so it's nice and thick and comfortable. And you can put those on like leggings, little leg warmers. I like to make sure the feet are covered so that you get the full extension. Okay, so from here, you can wrap your arms over your chest, give yourself a big hug. You can rest your arms on your lap or lift the arms overhead, bend the elbows, and let the fingertips dangle towards the floor. Let's give ourselves 5 minutes to just sweetly absorb and receive the benefits of our practice. Come into stillness or add just a gentle rocking from side to side to soothe the nervous system. If you like the movement, kind of like you're swaying in the wind. I particularly like to hang the swings from trees and practice outside to get into that rhythm wave that nature offers through its elements. Just see if you can mimic that in your body and your imagination. Flowing over the ocean, hearing the waves crash down in rhythm with the breath. Whatever feels good to give yourself this sacred pause and deep rest. Keep holding on to this feeling of spaciousness, of floating, of flying, of weightlessness. If nothing else, allow yourself to crawl into your cocoon every day and just be held and hugged by the Divine Mother. That deep nurturing that we experience as infants, to be held and rocked and cradled, soothes our nervous system and boosts our immune system naturally. So during these uncertain times, give yourselves plenty of rest and nourishment in the swing. So good for napping. Now in my workshops, I like to do 20, 30 minutes of cocooning. So at home, allow yourself to drop in even deeper. Nice long pauses to fully receive and integrate the practice. Mm-hmm. I am going to open it up for questions, and we can stay on the horn here with one another. Stay where you are. If you're perfectly happy, you can just absorb and listen and take in. And for anybody who does have any questions, I'm going to slowly make my way out of the cocoon. I also recommend that you take your time as well. I'm going to roll my ankles around and slowly bend my knees to release my leg loops if you have those on. One at a time, they come off. And then I'm going to stretch my fingertips away from my toes and fishtail a little from side to side, wakening up the spine again, wakening up the hips like that first morning stretch. I'm going to inhale, my hands will reach for the back edge of the swing and pull myself up to a comfortable seated position. And again, just stay in your cocoon if you're happy, or come to a seated position and hang out here as we listen. But I welcome anybody who would like to chat to go ahead and unmute your mic, and we can have a conversation or answer any questions, or even if there are some requests that have come up in the practice, I'm happy to demo something or go over some details for something. So chime in at any time, and then I'm going to go ahead and just talk a little bit about this virtual training that I'm offering next weekend. I've been thinking like, oh, any week now, we're going to get back to being able to have human contact and some sort of normal way of interacting, since literally everything I do requires touch and in-person coming together. But that's okay, because I have been doing the videos for about 10 years now, and I have over 3,000 videos on YouTube and other platforms. So there's no lack of videos. So I didn't really feel inspired to share anything, because I was like, well, it's all on there for free. I've already been doing it. What can I do that's different, you know? So I'm also wanting to offer another Zoom class, since I was kind of testing this out on you guys. And I know a bunch of people wanted to join, but I didn't really announce it to yesterday. It just took me a while. But next Thursday is another free Zoom class. I'm going to just work out all the technical kinks, make sure everything's working. And I'm also going to be taking requests and fielding any questions so we can practice together. It's just way more fun to practice together and connect. And it's so great to see your sweet faces and to have some time to play. This was really basic. Next week will be a little bit more like up-leveling our practice, up-leveling our relationship to the swing. Still level 1, but a little bit more mixed in. So we can really experience how much dynamic versatility is in the swing itself. So after that, the virtual training will be Friday, Saturday, Sunday, May 29th, 30, 31st. And it's a lot. It's a lot to commit to. I get it. Like 4 hours or 6 hours a day in the swing seems like crazy. But there will be lots of breaks. There will be lots of breaking things down. I'm going to share a lot more of the alignment principles and working with the fascia. I've been doing these fascia blasting videos. If you haven't seen those, they're pretty epic. And how to use the swing to do self-massage. So it's going to be a little bit different than my traditional AYP training, because I'm not making this for certification. Well, first of all, the certification would have to be more than $99. So I wanted to offer something that was super affordable, because I know people are in like financial hardship right now as well. So it's $99 for the whole weekend, all 3 days, and that includes 2 bonus workshops. If somebody cannot commit to an entire weekend, you can take the 2 workshops for $40. The workshops are Saturday and Sunday from 4 to 6 p.m. And they will include that 20, 30-minute cocoon at the end. So it's really like an hour and a half of active and then a half hour of deep dive meditation. I'll offer some guided meditation when we have that much time, which is super sweet. So yeah, it'll be Friday, Saturday, Sunday from 12 to 4 for practice. And even if you guys have been practicing with me, it'll of course be some mastering the basics and things you're familiar with, but I promise you it'll be a lot of newer material and things that I've been working on that have just been alive for me. Like when people ask me, like, you know, do crazy things in the swing or do the tricks, like the craziest thing for me is to open up the light body and get into more of the toroidal force field and Merkaba and microcosmic orbits and things like that. So I'm going to just keep leading with more of the metaphysics that I love in my body, in my life, in my practice. So I'm experimenting with bringing more and more of that information into the swing without losing people, you know, and having it be information overload. I'm going to give you an experience, a quantum experience with the swing. So that's kind of where I'm coming from. But I also love this global community and family that has been cultivated over the last 10 years with the swings. And it's a great opportunity to bring everybody together. And so you can do any and all parts. So even if you can only do 1 day or 2 days, it's all going to be recorded, really good quality, fingers crossed that the YouTube live stream is working. And then I'll sort out the Zoom because obviously they have it like magnified or something. So no matter how far back I push the computer, it's still like right here, which is great because I do want you guys to be able to hear me, but there'll be a Zoom and a live stream happening simultaneously. So you can always watch it on the YouTube live stream. It'll be a private link, so I'll have to send you that link. But then you can interact on the Zoom, and it might be a little bit easier to practice on YouTube and then interact on Zoom, or you can decide which way you would like to experience it. But there'll be one version that's good quality video, and there's another version where we can actually chat and interact. So even though it is not for certification, you're going to experience like 2/3 of what a training is and what it will be. You won't be experiencing the advanced stuff. It'll be more level 1 and 2. But it's a great opportunity to review that. And then the $99 investment is a credit towards the online certification program. If you do take the training and you're like, you know what, I do want to get certified, I'm just going to go for it. So usually the online certification is $300, so it'll be $200. So I'm making it easy for people to do the training with me, those that need a little extra motivation, and doing it together and just getting it done. And then you can use the online certification course as an extra review and have it be cheaper. So that was my idea. So yeah, the $99 still, if that seems like a lot, or if that is outside of your budget right now, I am happy to offer some half-price scholarships for some assistance. So if anybody wants to help me promote or help me spread the word or whatever exchange that you guys would like, I'm happy to do a half-price scholarship. So if the price is a problem, even at $99, just talk to me. Happy to work with you. But it is a great way to make a commitment to the swing. Even if you only get through 1 day and you're like, I'm good, I'm sore, then you will have all the replay videos as a review. But I promise you, it'll be worth it. You can do it. It's a deep dive. So yeah, you know, you'll be sore. It'll be a lot on the body, but it feels so amazing after a weekend of that much opening and stretching and strengthening. It's just incredible. And you will be transformed in the process. Anybody have any questions about that? Go ahead, Michaela.
I don't have a question about the training, but I do have a question about, I ate around 10 this morning. I feel a little bit nauseous, and that's what happens in the swing. I don't know if it's the swaying or can you give me some suggestions around that? Yeah, so ginger is a great thing to have on hand, either ginger tea or ginger chews. Actually, just have the ginger before you get in the swing. But I'm glad that you mentioned that because it is really common for newbies. So
as you're using the swing, the body is having a massive detoxing effect, particularly around the inversions and what I call multidimensional movement. There's very few things where we cross planes in the body. And as you cross planes, there's two things happening. You're getting this massive release in the lymph system. So that's kind of the nausea that people feel a lot of times. But you're also creating a different equilibrium and a different balance in the body. I will tell you that it goes away after like 3 or 4 times of having like a really deep experience, because your body has gotten enough of the sloughing off. Many people feel nauseous and woozy after an hour of, especially with me, because I do way more than most people do on their own, because I'm really wringing out the body in very specific ways. I'm turning on the endocrine system by doing certain patterns and certain movements that I've mapped out over the years. And I'm boosting the immune system. So I'm getting this kind of like super pumping of energy through the body. And yeah, I usually tell people to, you know, slow it down, to ground, to take frequent breaks, but that is very common. And I usually do a ginger tea and ginger chews in my workshops and training, and it helps like immediately. And then, you know, just drink lots and lots of water. It's like you're getting a free cleanse every time you do the swing as well. So it's kind of a bonus, and, you know, at the same time, a little sucky while you're trying to get a good workout in to feel
Exactly. Thank you. Thank
yeah,
you.
of course. Anybody else have anything they want to share? Questions, comments? We're good? How are you, Petra? Hop on in. Do you know how to unmute it? There you go.
Yeah, no, this is my first time I've used Zoom on my iPad. Usually I have it on my computer, so it's a little different.
Yeah.
No, I just want to thank you. That was so great. I mean, for those of you who have not done the teacher training, which I did last year, I guess, it was, you know, I've been trying to practice on my own, and it's not the same. It's not the same as doing this. So I find it coming back to having you guided and just, you know, walking through, talking through everything. It's just better.
Thank you.
I really enjoyed this, and I think that there's potential for you to keep doing it.
Yeah.
For everyone.
Thank you. Yeah, you probably remember that I was trying to do the live streaming at Meta Yoga, and their internet wasn't strong enough, so it was all choppy and a little weird, and I was so bummed because I've been offering the live streams for 2 or 3 years, and I think it's such a great way of creating a quantum field, and there's just something different about us practicing together versus just watching a replay video at home on your own. It's just not exactly the same. There is this entanglement that we have, this beautiful exchange of energy that boosts the you know, the excitement and the energy levels of practicing together.
Exactly, because when you watch a video, I've seen them so many times in rehearsal that I know what you're going to do next, and the body then knows, so there's no surprise. Whereas here, it's like, oh, she's doing something new, and you know, you just are totally in a different state. It's great.
Yeah, thank you. And that's why I also want to keep adding some new things, because I appreciate you guys who've been practicing with me for a while. I know it's like, yeah, okay, sumo, back bench, like it gets a little, our minds need to be stimulated as well as our bodies. And I really want to add a lot more of the fascia and spiral dynamics and organs and systems into the teachings, plus some pretty intensive breath work that I haven't been doing with you guys, mainly because it's so much information. I've been just trying to like take it easy on everyone. Like, wait a second, we're just trying to get the pose. But now I feel like we can add some of these things on, even if it's somebody who is newer to the swing. They don't have to master that, but they can really get a deeper understanding of the power that the swing has on the body. And I want to lead with that more, because that's why I'm blending the AYP with the AYRx and really understanding the AYRx, the AYRx is the therapeutics, and how we can use the swing to release the spine, work with injuries, boost the systems. It's really incredible. as well as just super sweet, you know, to hang out and cocoon and relax. So I'm trying to share more of the dynamic nature of the swing as I move into these virtual trainings. So thanks for the encouragement, Petra. I'm glad you could hop on.
Thank you.
Yay. Well, I'm happy to wrap it up unless someone else wants to share something. I love your hair, Annalisa.
Jen, this is so cool to be with you again, and thank you for always being you, like keeping this going, you know. And I just really appreciate it, and I love the message that's coming through about, you know, immunity and immune support, especially with right now and times we're living in. So
and yeah, I'm also trying to still stay connected. So if there's any ways that promotion can happen, it's like I'm all on board. I started just getting in the swing and moving around after I got it again at this time, and just people love this. So I really love that you're exploring all the dynamics of, you know, the human form in it. And yeah, I agree, Petra, you're so on point with that. Like, it's so different having it be guided, and your cues are so great and like digestible, and it really makes it that much more elevating of an experience on quantum levels, right? So yeah, I really want to explore that more, and I'm excited about that. That's good to hear. I'm glad you're offering it that way and going deeper.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have a lot of fun this coming weekend.
I'm just in a Zoom class.
Tiffany, I think you need to mute, love. Yeah. It's all right. That's why I'm like, everybody mute, because otherwise we wind up having dogs run through the room. Anyhow, that's all good. Hey, Sean, did you want to say something before we head out here?
Just say thank you.
Sure.
Right, there's Sean. Thanks, Jen.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Jen. It was really great to watch and see some of the mechanics in person, because I've been trying to practice on my own and up until last week when I had surgery, which is why I muted my camera, because I'm so scary looking.
Oh.
But it was really nice to follow along and just be able to watch without doing it in real time, because I think I learned better visually. Yeah, and without doing it at the same time, I was able to focus on the visual mechanics of it, and I think it has been really helpful for me. So I appreciate it.
Oh, I really appreciate your patience to sit through all this. And yeah, you're making a really good point, because like a lot of times I tell people, watch the video first and then get in the swing and do it. Because sometimes you're like, I can't see what just happened. So I appreciate you taking the time to really get the visual and the mechanics while you're resting and recovering. And hopefully we'll be able to practice with the live video in the future. So
Definitely.
yeah, appreciate you. Awesome. So next Thursday, same time, 12:30, I'll make some announcements a bit sooner. It will be free. And I will also offer the YouTube live stream for anybody who doesn't necessarily want to be on Zoom. They'd rather just do the practice. You can have both options. And then, yeah, consider jumping in on Friday, Saturday, Sunday next weekend for any or all of it. You can just do the videos. You can just do the workshops from 4 to 6 on Saturday and Sunday. I'm not doing a workshop on Friday just to give people a little break. I will do a Q&A on Friday at 4 o'clock, probably from 4 to 5 for anybody who wants to chat and talk about things. So that's why I didn't do 3 workshops, just 2 workshops that are included in the training price, or you can take them separate. All right, much love, much blessings. I'm so grateful that I got to share this time with you. I'm going to pop out of the swing. Aloha, everyone. I'll see you next week, I hope. Bye for
Thank you
now.
so much.
Thank you so much.
Pleasure. Bye, honeys.